So on my last video, I was invited to go ahead and play on a Realm server. It's a Bedrock Edition one, and I was invited by none other than this guy. And I decided, you know what, might as well join. I haven't played Bedrock Edition in a little while, but why not at least give it a try, you know? Now, the keen item of you might have noticed that little book in my inventory, and I'll explain that here in a second. Now, first of all, once again, this is Minecraft Bedrock Edition, and they went ahead and added an add-on from the Minecraft movie called Buckchuckets And Piglins. Now, you see, here's the very fun thing about it. Not only do you get a little book that says Minecraft movie add-on, but on top of that, it adds a bunch of different piglins to the nether. Now, not to try and spoil too much, but the piglins can drop netherite gear, though it is heavily damaged. The piglins can also drop gold pieces, so like golden ingots instead of golden nuggets. And there's also like a mini boss called Malgosha, and if you fight Malgosha and you kill her, she will give you either an orb of dominance or she will give you the staff. Now, if you combine the staff with the orb, you will get the staff of dominance. And the staff of dominance does the same amount of damage as a diamond sword if you use it as a weapon. However, if you charge it and shoot it, it will allow you to explode stuff and light things on fire, which we do use later in this video. Now, I will tell you, it is a lot of fun doing that, but it's also not that effective as you think it might be. It blows up like 3 blocks of stone. It's pretty mediocre, honestly, but it is cool to watch and fun to use. Now, let's go ahead and get into the goals that I actually have starting all of this off. Now, initially, I didn't come into it with much of goals. I just wanted to play for the first week, at least on this. As you might have noticed, there's not a one-man versus Hermitcraft episode coming up. Probably for another week, at least. So, what I wanted to do was initially just scope out everything and look at everybody's bases. That was my entire plan for, like, the first one, was look at everybody's bases, make my own base, maybe go mining and catch up with everybody. But I actually looked at everybody's bases and everything they were doing, and I realized one very big thing. That one very big thing was the fact that it didn't seem like anybody really got much progress done. There wasn't a lot of farms, there wasn't a lot of diamonds. Most people were in iron gear with maybe a couple of diamonds to their name. So, on top of that, I knew the End Dragon had not been defeated yet. So then I decided maybe that should be my goal. Now, as I was playing more and more, I realized that I was probably the best person on the server. Not to gloat or anything, it's just something I noticed. I'm very humble, I swear. But, you see, because of that, I decided that not just to kill the Ender Dragon, but also to go ahead and just get the most stacked I could possibly be. Without further ado, let's actually get into it. Now, the first thing to actually join the realm, believe it or not, is to get invited. Wow, who would have guessed that one? The second thing is to actually join. Wow, who would have guessed that? I know, vivid, really good commentary right there. Now, I had the funnest spawn, according to the host, as I immediately started falling very quickly down a hole. Now, I realized if you right-click the book, you can go ahead and turn the pages and also place it down. And if you punch the book, you can go ahead and pick it back up, which is somewhat self-explanatory. At least I figured it out pretty quickly. Now, something I do find interesting is the fact that you immediately spawn with the book, and you can also craft the book. So we might do that sometime, eventually. But for at least right now, we're not going to do it. Now, I did spawn all the way down in a hole because of a bedrock clipping through slab when you spawn bug. Now, as what I decided to do is go ahead and join him in a Discord call, as he invited me to one. And then I also decided to eventually get out of this hole, because I can't really go see and explore, which was my first and primary goal, was to go see and explore everybody's base. So up the scaffolding I went to go ahead and explore and see everybody's base. Now, I should say that the server host was kind enough to give me a little loot box at the beginning too. Now, I should mention that everybody else has been on the server, or at least the host has been on the server, for about 3 weeks ahead of me being on the server. They started on January the 1st, and they invited me on January the 21st. Or actually, they invited me on the 20th, and then I joined the 21st. But, as you can see, they definitely have some stuff already set up around the area. And he went ahead, because he had an iron from, he went ahead and gave me a bunch of iron gear and a stack of iron, and he showed me where it is up there in the sky. Now, he went ahead and actually explained to me this mailbox system. So, there's a chest inside, you have your name on the outside and on the inside, and there's a button on top of the copper lantern. Now, what you're supposed to do is you put your name on the signs, voila, and then if anybody has something for you, instead of having to go to your base or anything, they just go ahead and plop it in your chest, and then they go ahead and turn on the light to tell you that you need to grab the stuff out. Now, because on Bedrock Edition my name is different than what my name is on Java Edition, and I have not changed it yet, I will go ahead and maybe eventually change it, hopefully. Assuming my name has not been taken yet. And if any of you guys take it, I will find you. But, yeah, so right now, he said to basically put my name on there whenever I change it to whatever I'm going to have it as, which is going to be, well, killerrobo, because that's my YouTube channel. Now, he continued to show me around spawn, showing me the villager breeder, showing me where you can get the villagers, and, well, I found it funny how there was some fishermen there, but we'll see why that is a little bit later. It's a lot of fun. But he went ahead and also showed me the barn, where if you have any extra crops that you don't need, you can go ahead and put them in the barn. Now, something I have forgotten to mention is everything within a 50 block radius around the center of the world, which is 00, is actually going to be community driven. So anybody can build there, anybody can destroy anybody else's stuff there. Now, nobody has griefed anybody yet, at least, but he has said that basically anything is allowed, and if you don't want anything to be changed, destroyed, moved, etc., to not build it within that 50 block radius. As you can see, he has that marked out by the road pathway, so we know exactly where that block radius is. Now, you might have noticed somebody's base. There's actually a few people's bases that are like 2 blocks away, and I'll get to those a little bit later. Now, first of all, first things first, is I did not have the skin textures enabled for like only approved safe skins thing, so I did not see his skin, regardless of him changing it, and I pretended like I did, regardless of me not. I have no clue why I did this. I just didn't notice like the metal thing on his arm at first. I assumed that's what he changed, but then when he changed his skin back, I noticed that didn't change, and I had no clue what was happening. I just figured I should mention that because I thought it was a little bit communical watching it again. So we'll go ahead and start off with his base. He basically told me that I can take anything I want from his base, and I could use his iron farm, and that I can use his smelter and everything. He basically said communism, yes. So, don't worry, we do make somewhat good use of that, as he does have tons of iron blocks, as he always seems to be AFKing at his iron farm anytime it's like late at night or something. So, hey, I mean, free iron, I guess. Now, something I should mention is his base is basically just a warehouse, and he offered me to go ahead and just take whatever I want immediately right off the bat. So I went ahead and just took a stack of logs, since that will just save me, you know, time. And, well, he offered, so might as well. He also offered for me to take one of every single sapling. Now, I did take 4 pale oak saplings and 4, dark oak saplings. And the reason for that is because you need 4 of them to actually produce a tree. And I also took 4 spruce because I just wanted, you know, a spruce tree. The big one. Why would I take anything less than that? He had plenty of jungle, so I also only took 4 of those. Yeah, bundles are a little bit goofy when you're trying to just place one item. But yeah, then I just went down the board, grabbed one of each one. Fun little fact, I still haven't used them. Any of them. I still have that bundle. I just thought that was oh so funny. Might as well mention that too. Now, something I should also mention is he showed me his sugarcane farm and his bamboo farm. Now, he made both sections 32 blocks, which means in total it's 64 blocks worth of sugarcane and bamboo. I don't know why I decided to mention that, but he also has 32 bees on the top of it. So this is also a pretty good way to get honey or honeycomb if I ever need it. And he offered whatever I want from it, I can go ahead and just take some. He's pretty generous, I will give him that. And what he always likes to say is it's just pixels on a screen, and he doesn't really care too much. Now, you haven't heard his voice yet, but let me put it this way, he's a 50-year-old. 50-something-year-old. I think he's like 54, if I remember correctly. And it's a little bit raspy, so I guess, yeah. Now, he go ahead and show me an enchanted setup, because he said I can go ahead and use this whenever I feel like it or want to. So, yeah, I go ahead and just check it out a little bit. And then I think we just start talking for quite a while. Now, as we were getting chatty, he offhandedly mentioned Malgosha's staff and putting the orb in it and making it an explosive weapon. Now, it's pretty good for clearing out forests, as fire does basically burn down the entire trees, but as you might notice from the actual explosion itself, not only does it have a range, the staff has a charge up, so it's not super fast, but it also does explode dirt pretty well, but when it hits stone, it pretty much doesn't break stone at all. Not even a little bit. Now, he did start offering if I want any of the weapons inside the chest, I can have them. Now, what I did notice is the battle axe, the diamond battle axe, he went ahead and gave me, as I was asking, why does it do the same amount of damage as an iron sword? And basically what he told me is it has a sweeping knockback attack, and also a secondary attack where you can launch things up into the air. Now, I was curious, so I went ahead and grabbed that, and then he also gave me Buckchuckets, saying that they were incredibly cheap, and they have a little stung mechanic tied to them. Now, I did end up using the battle axe, but I basically never used the Buckchuckets besides a little demo that he had me do. And, well, that was about it. I haven't used them since. Once I got like a diamond sword, I basically abandoned the battle axe. And as far as I'm aware, nobody's using these things in the server at all. So, yeah, take that as with what you will. Now, I went ahead and started asking about the piglins, so he gave me a gold helmet, and he said, yeah, let's go check them out. Now, as you can see, Malgosha spawns kind of often, and honestly, I'm not even gonna lie to you, Malgosia's health bar is probably always going to be up there, no matter where you are in the nether. I'm just not gonna lie to you. It's literally just, she spawns so often, it's crazy actually. Now, Malgosia not only hits like a truck, but she also spawns other piglins. As you can see, that is one of the new piglin variants that buffs other piglins, giving them, I think, strength? Yeah, I think it's just strength. So, yeah. Now, Malgosia will spawn piglins, and she'll do a decent amount of damage, a decent amount of knockback. But she's also probably as easy to cheese as like an iron golem. All you need is like a bow. And pretty much she's dead. She can't do anything. She doesn't really have any range. She also spawns in a 2-block high thing, but she's more than 2 blocks high. So you could just go up and smack her, and it would be fine. I figured out. Which is just, it's funny. Admittedly, the Staff of Dominance is not really the strongest thing in game. But at the same time, it is just kind of funny that you can get it so easily. Now, I should mention that we talked for like another 2 hours or something crazy like that, but then I decided, you know, it's about time to explore some people's bases. Now, what he told me, right, is that there is a base all the way on the coast, and it has some villagers set up in it. So I was mildly curious, so I wanted to go ahead and check that out. Now, the bridge is really cool, I will have to say that, and the house actually looks really nice. He seems to be a very good builder, honestly, and, well, I mean, I'm not usually the building type, so I will have to say that his house is kind of impressive, if you will. To me, at least. I like the use of everything. Now, of course, we have to diamond check him. He only has 18 diamonds, but he does have a lot of lapis. I will give him that. Other than that, most of his chests that he's had were pretty much empty. Now, we went ahead and checked out all of his villagers. Mending for 36 is crazy. Unbreaking for 12 is insane. And then everything else was kind of standard, except it wasn't, though. We went ahead and did get like efficiency 5 for 36 emeralds. He had Silk Touch for 5, which honestly, I mean, Silk Touch is usually a pretty cheap enchantment. But looting 3 was 33 emeralds. That's crazy. Now, I don't really care about thorns, so I didn't even check that. But sharpness 5, half a stack, and power 5 is actually a really good price at 26 instead. Now, that was basically all of his villagers. He didn't really have anything else. So now we go ahead and look at this. This is Lawless Bacon Base. Now, this is not currently his base. This is where he's planning on having his base, and it's kind of cool. It has like 2 levels on the outside. When I eventually look at it from a little bit further away, you'll see it kind of looks like a wizard tower. Now, the place he actually lives is inside his butcher shop, and, well, his butcher shop is not actually a shop right now. It's just more cosmetic, if anything, I'm pretty sure. I just figured I should mention that, because initially I did actually think it was a shop, and I learned it was not. Now, of course, we have to go and pry into his things and check what he has. Now, of course, as we're checking, we have to pry into his diamonds and see he has 2 tridents, 2 diamonds, a diamond chest plate, some emeralds, you know, just a little bit of things. He also has quite a bit of vapor, as you can see, quite a bit of vapor, which I assume he's probably trading up with some of the villagers. We went ahead and went into his basement also, looked at his stone generator, and then we also went ahead and looked at the chicken cooker that he had, and he also had a cow cooker on top of that. And this is how his other base looks from a distance, kind of close distance. As you can see, it kind of looks like a wizard tower, though the base seems a little bit small to support all of that weight. Now, I wanted to go ahead and just look at spawn myself again, but some zombies decided I cannot do that, so I went ahead and just showed off what the axe can do. As you can see, the right-click ability just throws everything up into the air, damages everything, and it's pretty cool, honestly. Though, Once again, I didn't really use it very much after I got a diamond sword. Now we went ahead and checked out Crazy Savage's villa. He calls it his town. I call it a villa because I think that's the more correct term for this. And it looks really cool, honestly. I like all the pink colors. He has a little storage where he actually is trying to stay organized. His other chest, a little bit less organized. Speaking of his other chest, I decided to just peek around. As you can see, there's a diamond there. As you could saw, there's also some emeralds, and then he also has a bunch of books. I decided not to read them, just in case of that spoilers. Some more diamonds, some more tridents. He also has, some diamond enchanted stuff around. As far as I gathered, he got that from trial chambers by drowning zombies. Because in Bedrock Edition, when you drown a zombie, it will give you the gear that, it had on. Which, I guess, fun fact, if you didn't know that. Now, he also had a bunker in the back, but I definitely did not go into it and look around, only to find out that later he put a sign up saying, "You're not allowed in there." So I went ahead and definitely did not go in there, and instead went on to the next person's house. Now, here is Lightning FNC's house. He's not on very often, as you could probably tell from his house. Yeah, I just figured I should mention that, and well, as far as I'm aware, his base house has basically stayed the same, and basically nothing new has been added to his chest. As you can see, there's just wooden tools, and I think it stays that way even when this video goes up. Now, I should say that this base is not a base. Instead, it's meant to be an amusement park. It's meant to be a spooky one, and one of the people who is making it, they're eventually also going to do, I think, a PvP box of some sort. As the server host said, it would be cool if we do have like a PvP arena, and they're planning on making one, and he said, well, there can be more than one, so maybe I'll even plan on making one, but we'll see. Now, I have no clue what this room is. Maybe it's going to be the PvP arena, but I don't know. I'm not inside their head. Now, the base is about 2,000 blocks away, and it's the last one I check out. Now, Space Mush's house. Space Mush is, as you can see, just across the water lake from MC Squared, so they're not too far away either. A lot of people have base nearby, besides Fat Rat, but as you can see, they don't seem to have any diamonds. They just have some iron, maybe some emerald, some lapis, you know, just a little bit of stuff. As far as I can tell, they're online about as much as FNC, but I guess they just get more done. I don't know. I'm not sure if at one point they were more active or not, but I have never ran into them while I was playing, because our times haven't aligned. Same with Lightning FNC. I just figured I should mention that. Now, on our way to Fat Rat, as you can see, they have a pathway, you know, made. So, yeah. They went for the more sufficient route, if you will. As you can see, they have their own sugarcane farm, they have a dripstone farm, they have their own actual farms. They also have a bunch of pale oak trees around and a bunch of chests. Now, they also have their own enchantment table, and I think they also have some ancient debris, but I don't believe they have any diamonds in their chests. Went ahead and slowed it down because I'm a fast chest go through, but as you can see, they have 4 ancient debris in their chest. I also definitely did not almost die to an enderman. Yeah, that one was a little bit scary, if you will. They went ahead and actually have a villager box as well, although as you can see, this Fletcher is a diamond trade. Most of the villagers inside the villager box are not actually that leveled. It's only like every few of them, like only a few of them. Now, as I was traveling back, I heard a trident be thrown at me, and as you can see, trident drown definitely does some damage to ya. Happily, I did not die, and now on Bedrock Edition, I should mention that I'm pretty sure all of like the loot drops that are usually rare on Java are increased on Bedrock Edition due to lower spawns and lower spawn cap, which makes it, you know, more difficult to farm said things. and thus getting, tridents and stuff is not as difficult, but it was still nice to get it, my first try. Now I went ahead and scattered out an area of where I wanted to build. I knew I wanted to build in the taiga biome, but since I saw like this nice little hilly area, I was like, oh yeah, no. It would be cool to have a castle in the middle of this. So this is where I decided to go ahead and claim as my space. Now, admittedly, to start this all off, you have to, well, mine the blocks out, so that's exactly what I was doing, and I was always mining the blocks out to go ahead and build my base. I did go ahead and light up some of the area, and I also found out that this is a slime chunk around here somewhere, which means that we can go ahead and make a slime farm if we want to do that at spawn. It would be a community one, of course, so that way anybody can get the... But at the same time, because, it's spawn, I presume there's going to be quite a bit of slime inside of there, which is going to be pretty nice. Now, I also did find some lapis already, and then I found some more lapis, and I saw some diamonds right there, so I decided to go ahead and just get a nice pickaxe, so that way I can go ahead and mine those up. Now I went ahead and got an efficiency 2 pickaxe, and I also went ahead and got some books from the villagers, and got a fortune 3, unbreaking 3, efficiency 2 pickaxe, and now it's time to mine some diamonds. Now, of course, you have to mine out all of the other stuff first, and honestly, I found a decent amount of redstone, a stack of redstone, half a stack of lapis, and I went ahead and mined out the diamonds, and I got lucky with an 8 vein. And I also got pretty lucky by getting myself 20 diamonds, which is a pretty good amount. Now, I should definitely mention that I used MC's diamonds to originally get my 3 diamonds to make the diamond pickaxe, and I paid him back 4 diamonds, just as, because it was like a little bit of a loan, if you will. And then I also ended up playing the, Irish guy, which base I used the villagers from, diamonds later on too. So though we have 22 diamonds in our inventory, we already paid the 4 to MC at this point. We do end up grabbing that diamond, just 1 diamond, and going to pay a visit to the Irish guy to go ahead and give him one. And as you can see, he went ahead and he got a diamond now. Wow, fantastic, amazing. Okay, so day 2, being on the server. We got some resources up, we have a trident, we have some other things. We got a bunch of deep slate cobble, we got some diamonds, gold, some other stuff. So I think it's about time that we work with villagers. Oh, silly young me. I thought that it was going to be just alright, just a-okay, but little did I know how much of a headache Bedrock villagers were going to be for me. Oh boy, we're going to find out. Trust me. Now, I went ahead and decided the first thing I want to do when I start with villagers is actually probably get some trees set up, just so that way you can trade with Fletchers nice and easily. As you know, Fletchers are probably the best renewable way to get emeralds. The best way to actually get emeralds is probably going to be masons at the beginning, but then it, as you use up all the clay, you kind of have to go ahead and use up, trees instead, because you can actually grow trees. You can't really grow clay, if that makes sense. Yeah. So then we went ahead and started getting our minecart track up, because wow, why not? We went ahead and made some fletching tables on top of that, so that way, once again, we could go ahead and get some easy trades. Now we went ahead and made the ocean compliant homes for them to go ahead and live in. And we also went ahead and put down, the workstation, so that way they would pathfind to it. Little did I know that's not how Bedrock villagers work. I'm sorry, I haven't played Bedrock in so long. It's been like 5 years, 4 years, something like that. It's been quite a while. So I forgot that villagers work differently. And it's so much fun, because if you didn't know, Bedrock villagers can literally pathfind to job stations 64 blocks away in the freaking, like, bottom of the universe, it seems like. Because they don't care. As you can see, the ones being fishermen, I told you was important, because it turns out people have barrels in their bases, which has made this process very, very fun. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and bore you guys too much with villagers, because you guys all have seen it happen. Admittedly, you haven't seen Bedrock, but in other words, it's just pain, it's misery. So instead I decided I'm going to give you guys a supercut of highlights of misery. One of them being the fact that this guy decides he doesn't actually want a path to his freaking workstation. And I have found that I have to break all of these blocks and just push him in because he can't think other than just being right on top of it, which is going to... It drove me slightly insane because this is not like my first attempt of trying to get them on this side of the OSHA-compliant housing quarters. Now, one of the villagers I was trying to make into a Fletcher decided he actually wanted to be a fisherman, and he escaped out of his house. So, we had to stick him in a boat, and it was really fun, because he didn't want to turn back into a Fletcher, and he stayed a fisherman for an unreasonable amount of time. It was super chill. Now, this one's really fun. When there is villagers breeding up, somehow one of the babies escaped. I do not know how, but he did. So I had to go ahead and boat him and wait for him to grow up and everything, and then give him a job. But, yeah, I figured I should mention that, because I don't know how he escaped still. Now, fun and misery again, one of the Fletchers decided he wanted to be a leathersmith, as you can see right there, and a different villager decided he wanted to be a Fletcher. So then we had to go ahead and trade places with them and everything, and you could see why I would get frustrated very quickly at this constantly happening and stuff like this happening. So now, me and MC are on Discord, and he's asking, okay, so this is where you're going to base at, and he wanted to just confirm, and I said, yep, that's where I'm going to base at, and then he was telling me how he wants to deconstruct this entire hill, and I kind of, like, roughly tell him how close I am willing to have it to my base, which, honestly, I'm fine with the hill actually being really steep, as that kind of, you know, makes it, in my opinion, a bit more cool, as there's just like this one mountain ridge sticking out. But he said we need to do it at least to the road, which I went ahead and mapped out, and I told him that the most I'm willing to have it come to my base is roughly where I drew another line, which is right about where I'm standing, honestly, I think. Yeah, that's where I drew the second line. So I said from right about here, that's the farthest I'm allowing it to go, in which case his plan is to basically taper it off from that line, the first line, to the second line, to have it, you know, be a steep hill like that. And then we went ahead and just started blasting, blowing up the dirt and everything. Now, since I haven't gone on a mining trip yet, since I did have, you know, a bunch of iron from the start of the thing, I went ahead and just decided to grab the coal before we started blasting. And, well, I'm happy I did, because now I have plenty of coal, let me tell you that. Now, the blasts do not do much to stone, as you can see. You shoot a blast, it does a little bit. They also do kind of a lot of damage, though, and, I may or may not have, killed him. Except he did actually blow up himself, so you know what? I'm not to blame for this. But I did hit him pretty hard initially, and then, yeah, I just figured I should mention that. He did die like 10 times doing this. Now, it turns out he actually died 6 times, and I definitely was not the cause of, that one right there, not at all. Now, I did decide to show you how bad the Staff of Dominance is at blowing up stone. It usually only blows up like 1 layer of stone, but it blows up, all the surface of that one layer. So it's not the worst, not the best. I did put away my stuff, but then I decided to just bring out at least my Fortune 3 pickaxe, so that way I can mine some coal. Now, this is kind of funny, because this guy just spawned right in front of that blast. He deserved it. Now, we did go ahead and just count up his deaths right here. As you can see, he did die 5 times. No, 6 times. He died 6 times in total. Which I died 0 times during this entire thing. So I think I did pretty well. Now, I did decide to just kind of start flattening it out a little bit while he blew up it all. And then I needed to log off, and he decided to, finish up the job, as I needed to go, I think, eat dinner at this point in time, because I was starving. So that's, in fact, what I did. Now, of course, we have to do a bounty check, and as you can see, plenty of coal, plenty of copper, and plenty of cobblestone, too, if I'm not even going to lie to you. In fact, I probably need a new chest on top of this. Now, I went ahead and made a rough outline of the base I wanted. So, I was going to build up the walls about 4 or 5 blocks, and the castle 5 or, no. The castle bits are going to be 8 to 10 blocks tall, while the walls are 4 to 5 blocks tall. The castle has to be twice as big kind of deal. And as you can see, he did go ahead and finish that up and flatten the ground and everything, and it looks actually pretty nice. I can definitely see why he wanted to go ahead and take down that entire hill. That took us about 2 hours to do, and I don't know how long it took him, since he did have to flatten it and mine all of that out and place the dirt, so it probably took him longer than that. But he did thank me for helping him out with everything and doing that. As I could also see that he made like a divot of where the line is going to be for the road, so we also have that for reference. Now, I went ahead and actually built up my base now, and as you can see, it's just a little castle. As I said, once again, this is just supposed to be my starter base. It used, like 3 stacks of deep slate cobble or something. No, actually more than that. I think it was like 4 stacks of deep slate cobble. So it is definitely a little bit resource intensive for early game. I'm not sure if I would suggest building this as your guys' base. Currently it doesn't have any entrance, but it does kind of have an exit with that little staircase. But it's mainly just so that way I can have my stuff without having to worry about a creeper blowing up my chest and stuff. Now, I went ahead and I don't even know what I did. I think it just decided it wanted to, but it decided it wanted to switch from fisherman to toolsmith. So congrats me. Now I can go ahead and do toolsmith stuff, if you will. And yeah, now I started leveling up a bit of the smiths, and now we have a diamond axe. Good on us, I guess. That's pretty slick. Now, I did find that the efficiency to iron axes seem to be about the same as the diamond axe, but, the diamond axe has more durability, so it's not going to be, probably too much of a problem. We still haven't gotten him to his diamond pickaxe yet, but his diamond pickaxe is 20 emeralds, which means once we cure him, since the discount is 25 emeralds, we will not have to deal with anything bad. Woo! By bad, I mean, anything costing more than 1 emerald. Anyways, we did go ahead and trade up with more villagers. As we can see, we do have an armor smith. Armor smiths in Bedrock Edition do not give you the helmet, chestplate, and leggings. You have to get 2 different armor smiths. I did not know that, so instead we have 2 different toolsmiths, which I could have had 2 different armorers. Woo! Now, we are just going to try and get them over there by just, doing what I usually do, which is you place the workstation. You do have to break the trapdoor, since I do have trapdoors there too, just to make sure baby zombies can't get there, and also so that way if I break their workstation, they don't just, dip immediately. So, yeah, remove that, and then they usually pathfind. Sometimes it depends on the day and if they feel like it, just like a cat, if you really think about it. Now, I skipped ahead a bit, but I was having some problems with getting the villager breeder to actually, give me villagers, and it turns out how it works in Bedrock Edition is, although villagers can only see a bed from 16 blocks away, if there's another villager within 76 blocks vertically, or 96 blocks horizontally, they will also be able to see said block, which is fantastic. Now, as you can see, I'm just testing out if it works, but this is 96 blocks away because that's how much it was horizontally. Eventually, I figure out it's 76 blocks. Anyways, moving on. Next annoying thing is the fact that the villager babies decide to grow up in the villager breeder, and it was not working out too well. So then I had to go push them, and it was fun and stuff, due to time constraints, since I do want this video to be less than 50 minutes long, let's say. I went ahead and I did get a bunch of villagers traded up. We got a bunch of different books. We got mending for 14 right here, which is fantastic. But yeah, this was basically, we got like one extra villager with Unbreaking 3. This is pretty much like the finished product. I just kind of said frick villagers after this once I got the Unbreaking 3 guy, and I got them queued up and everything. Since we basically have every book we need. We have Breaking, or I mean not, we had a Fortune, not Fortune. Yeah, we do have Fortune 3. We have Silk Touch. We have Depth Strider. Basically, we have everything we want besides Efficiency 5, Feather Falling 4, and Sharpness 5. Other than that, we basically had every book that we want. So we have Depth Strider, Aqua Affinity, Respiration. You name it. You get the point. Now, due to the whole time constraint thing, since I don't want the video to be, too long, this is what the final product looked like, and I went ahead and set up a donation chest just in case if anybody wants to donate to the cause, since this took me about 3 separate days, I want to say, to go ahead and fully construct, between debugging the villagers and everything else, and once again, they're all becoming fishermen, because somebody had a villager in their base again, and they had barrels, and it was a whole deal. It was very fun to figure out and everything. As you can see, Space Marsh, they're going to go ahead and make the map room. So they're going to make it by the villagers. So yeah. Otherwise, I don't really know what else to show that I could show within 2 minutes. So instead, I'm just going to go ahead and say, I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I'm going to post a part 2, episode 1, with, everything I just did, or maybe I'll just call it episode 2. We'll see.